A photograph is defined by a wide variety of parts. Some of those parts are its physical components, like pixels, ink, some type of solvent-based material, or even a carving on the side of a rock. However, that's not the whole picture. The other parts that make up a photo are non-physical. It's the feelings we experience when seeing the photo. It's what the photo teaches us about life. It's the intention behind the photo. It's the story that it's trying to tell us. These pictures serve as a time capsule, not only for inward and outward experiences, but physical and fictional locations. The experiences and locations they capture represent a time and place slowly falling backwards into history. A photograph is a multi-dimensional sensation encapsulated by a specifically selective impulse that is like us, eroding in time, only at a much different pace. What actually counts as a photo? If I take a picture with a film-based camera, for a fraction of a second, light is let into the sensor, allowing the film to be exposed to the light. Small crystals on the film react to the light in various ways, which are small enough to create the illusion of an image. These crystals are the physical equivalent of pixels in our modern-day digital photo. The higher the crystal count that you have means a higher resolution for the image, just as the higher pixel count you have also means a better quality picture. Both digital and physical forms of photography are considered photos. But what about something like a painting or a drawing? We can find the answer in photography itself. The word photograph is mainly defined as a picture made using a camera. So all photos are pictures, but are all pictures photos? If we define picture, it says a painting or drawing. So in these technical terms, a picture is not always a photo, but a photo is always a picture. So when you take a photo with your phone, it's a digital painting, in a way. While it doesn't take nearly the same amount of time, creativity, and talent, the basis on which they are constructed is basically the same. Whether it's a digital or physical photo, a painting, or a drawing, the process has a high number of similarities. It all starts with the light cast off of a scene, whether it's in real life or imaginary. The light is processed with either a brain or a camera. Then, that processed light creates a wide variety of smaller parts. Those smaller parts could be pixels, crystals, paint strokes, lines from a pencil, or even negative space. What I mean by negative space is the use of something like carvings in stone. It's not the existence of a base that creates the image, it's the non-existence of that base. The logical extension of that would be to consider statues and sculptures equally definable as pictures. Whatever tool you use to create the picture, it will always be a reimagination of reality. Our brains don't see the individual paint strokes, but the painting as a whole. We can take photos by fractionally reconstructing reality with any given tool, in turn storing the recollection or reimagination of events in a physical form. If a photo was judged solely on how accurately it captured a scene, then we would lose half of the character and artistic value that makes taking photos so important. A photo isn't just a record of events, it's those events recorded through someone else's eyes. Photography is a device that allows us to live in someone else's head in a non-physical type of way. This type of photography is based on the perception of reality that the individual taking the photo experiences. Them choosing to put this experience into a photographic type of format is the visual equivalent to articulating a feeling with the use of words. The pictures they take are based on their personal experience and are inwardly focused. But for even those photos that are intended on accurately capturing a scene, they too have a purpose. While focusing inward on the self can be a beautiful way to explore the nature of humanity, having an outward focus can be a beautiful way to explore the nature of the universe. Accurately capturing a scene isn't as much of a marvel at the vision of the one taking the photo, but a marvel at the vision nature is presenting us with. A beautiful day can give even an amateur photographer the chance at getting a stunning shot. In this case, nature is doing most of the legwork, but can be respected for it nonetheless. This type of photography is about respecting the vision that nature is offering us and is outwardly focused. A photo is made through the mastery of both the inward and outward expression of humanity and our relationship with nature. It's been hundreds of years since the first camera was invented, and it wouldn't be until much later after that when they would finally become practical. Up until that point, it was more common for a record of history to be stored in the articulation of text and the artistics of a painting. As the world continued through the Industrial Revolution, many technological-based advancements were being made. As the camera became more accessible and more efficient, the amount of documented photos that were taken started to rise exponentially. Much like the cell phones of the modern day, whenever a newer and better camera would be released to the market, a higher number of people would adopt it. Each new advancement in photography slowly started to cut out eras for themselves, like the switch from the black and white era to the color photo era. While each new era was accepted with excitement, over time, a type of nostalgia for previous eras started to grow. This nostalgia manifested itself in the purposely artistic use of old film cameras and different types of film. This same type of phenomenon can be seen in the world of video with the use of VHS aesthetics. Back when black and white photos or VHS videotapes were the standard, people didn't think of them as an aesthetic, but only saw them as the most current innovation. That innovation, however, came with limitations, and those limitations are what define the aesthetics today. Much of the creativity that comes from the use of this older technology is that it forces you to think outside of the box. You can't just impress your friends by zooming in on the moon with your new camera or playing back an ultra slow motion video with HDR. There are set boundaries around what you're able to do with this old tech, therefore encouraging these limits to be broken. The limits of our present day technology haven't even seen a glimpse of its breaking point, simply for the fact that we haven't moved past it yet. When a photo is made, it's cemented into the time period defined by the technological state of the medium. Everything we interpret, whether it's in the past or the present, is interpreted through all 5 of our senses. The way we document history has always required the stimulation of one or more of those senses in some form or fashion. As long as we've been on this planet, we've had a desire to capture our history in any form possible. Written language, despite its limitations, is still the most widely available form of historical documentation. But even words themselves are quite special. We can look at a shape on paper and know what it means. A combination of those shapes can create an emotion in our brain. The emotion isn't the result of the shapes on that paper, but the meaning those shapes have for us. The meaning is what is important here, because without meaning and purpose, they're just random. Lines with purpose are a sign of life. They're a sign that we're not alone. Whether those messages are in the form of text, paint, or pixels, they're meant to connect our shared experiences in life. Our connection with the past and the people that lived in it is being ever enriched by the technology of our time and of all times. The reason people in older photos seem so distant is because of the limitations of the technology they had available to them. When we shuffle through the eras that define photography, we start to see more life and relatability in them as time has continued. When all they had was a roll of film that allowed 25 photos to be taken, they had to be a lot more particular about the photo they would choose to take. When taking photos and videos became more cost efficient, it wasn't as much of a sacrifice to record the more mundane and uninteresting parts of our day-to-day lives. However, it's in those average days that the majority of our lives will be spent. Photography was no longer about remembering just people and places, but moments. Little tidbits of life that may have been overlooked. A photo is taken by individuals seeking to capture a moment, ultimately contributing to a larger picture of who we are as a species. So jump back to the present, when this type of content is more prevalent than ever. Casually relating to complete strangers through photo and video with the use of the internet is a pastime for millions. This feeling of relatedness isn't just consumed by people, but produced by people. It's now so vivid and so widely available that developing long-lasting emotional connections with two people that have never met in person is a realistic possibility. But even more vivid and experiential recreations of reality are inevitable. It ultimately begs the question what constitutes our very definition of reality. If the sensation of a virtual experience is equally engaging as in real life, then which is more real? Even you and me right now, you're experiencing my thoughts, you're feeling my emotions, you're hearing my voice. The words I say have an impact on you, even if only in a small kind of way. Equally, the words you say to me, whether that's in the comments or on another platform, can impact the course of my life. Where you are in the world now is less important than it ever has been, in terms of the meaning your words and actions can carry. The sensorial experiences that one is capable of having extends beyond their physical presence in this world. Who I am in relation to who you are has always been defined by our capacity to communicate. The method in which we communicate is irrelevant to that definition, and so, taking a photograph is like a message in a bottle. It's an experience meant to be had by those who find it. We can't send a message back, but only forward. These messages are a fragment of you. It's just a sliver of the life that you live, yet sometimes that's all you need to tell what kind of life it was. But only you have the ability to share it, whether it's only the parts you want people to know about, or even parts that people don't want to know about. I would say that every advancement in photography is built towards bettering our ability to more genuinely capture a moment of life, but nothing about the quality determines whether a photo is genuine or not. The people in old photos were just like us, people. The primary difference is that our lives are crossing over into an age where our whole existence is on record. Every experience, every opinion, all of our ups, and some of our downs. Broadcasting our life inherently comes with manipulation of that broadcast. We want our lives to be interesting and exciting, so we capture as many of those good experiences as we can. A beautiful sunset, a delicious meal, a fun road trip, all of it. There is beauty in taking photos, but maybe there is also beauty in choosing not to. If our focus is always on the past, then we can never live in the present. Sometimes it's okay to enjoy a moment. It's okay to let it live in the memory of you and those who were with you. Memories are fading, but it's okay to let go. You can't always keep things forever. Don't let your old memories prevent you from making new ones. It's never too late to appreciate what you still have, because ultimately, your life is more important than how it's remembered. Thank you.